Welcome everyone to this first class of the Evening Star series where Venus is preparing to go through the first gate, also connected to the root chakra. We're so excited to share this with you. We're going to do just a few little things to kind of give people a sense of how to navigate the class page, because we don't usually have the opportunity to do this. So
yeah,
take us through that, and then we'll set sacred space and jump in. So
yeah. Okay, so we're so excited to start with you all. And you know, this is something we're going to record it too, so if you listen, you can listen to it later if you miss anything. So basically we have here, when you click on the Evening Star page, you'll see first of all a list of all the upcoming class dates. Now we will do our best to keep these dates. Every once in a while we have to change them, but we'll do our best. But you might notice that we recently changed some of the dates out further into the future, and the reason for that was because we saw we have a lot of participants who are in the UK or in Australia or in other areas where this is really not an ideal time. So that's why we changed to some weekend dates and also one afternoon date. So, or we changed to one afternoon during the week. So you might make note of that. And also we just wanted to invite you, you know, probably those folks aren't on right now, but if people want to just put into the chat where you are coming from, that's always fun. And at this point in the class, I think we've got something like 75 people enrolled, I think, something like that. And it's been really fun to see just everybody hopping on. And we'll continue to hop on because we always have a lot of people, you know, continuing to join. So if you have friends or sisters or other people who want to, know that it's not too late for them to come on. It's just the more the merrier. So, okay, so I'm just going to use my little pointer here so you can see this. And so this class is going to be on Zoom, but in the future, sometimes we'll have a conference call. And so in that case, you're going to want to, you'll see that there's the Zoom information here. And then if you scroll down, you'll see the conference call number there. Now we'll always send that by email, but just so you're not confused, there's those two options. We'll always let you know which it is.
so what we did here where it says do not use this for September 27 class. So if we decide to do Zoom again, we'll put it there again. But if we decide to do conference call next month, then we'll put it on under the Zoom link where don't use this one for this one.
Yeah.
So we'll always have
right.
it which one to not use.
Yeah, right. And of course, we'll also let you know by email. But that's something, Kaylin, could you mention that really quickly in terms of getting there? Or maybe I'll wait. I'll go through this first and then let's talk about that. Okay, okay, so the next thing is that we want to make sure if you have not received an invite to the Facebook page for whatever reason, you can friend me or Kaylin and request that we add you, and we will add you. And then also we really recommend to people, if you're able, to have a Venus buddy. And you know, you may want to do it on your own, but you know, or you may choose, so you may actually just know someone already in the group that you love, or today when we do breakouts, you might meet someone, you're like, wow, you're amazing, I want to be your buddy. But if you would like for us to kind of pull your name out of a magic hat and just choose someone for you, we can do that. And the way we do that is, this is also in the emails we've sent out. There's a Google Doc that we've sent out that you can click on and you can add your information, like how often do I want to meet? Do I want someone close to me, et cetera, to help us match people. And we can't always get exactly what you want, but we'll try. Okay, and then if you want to learn more about a Venus Buddy, what that means, we've got Venus Buddy guidelines right here. So so this is something that's interesting, and this is the first time we've really gone over this whole page before, but it's just that it has so many deep layers. And I just also want to say, don't get overwhelmed, because just know it's a lot right now, but what we find is we've got time to integrate all of this. So you may only catch a little bit right now, and then over the next coming months, you'll get more and more of this information. So don't worry if it feels a little complex, because you'll get it. But here's this is basically describing in more detail what happens at each of the Venus moon gates. That's what is kind of the featured event that we're preparing you for at each of these calls over the next 8 months. So This is just more detail into what's actually happening in the Venus cycle that you can access.
And it starts out with where the cycle began, and then it goes to where it ends. So you have morning star, underworld, evening star, the whole thing is there. So you can look back, and if you're in a Venus return and you're just joining us, you might want to look back and just see, what was going on for me at these particular times, to tune in and see how that might have played out for you.
Yes, exactly. That is powerful. That is such a potent thing to do, whether you took the Morning Star class with us or not. So that's the 2018 to 20 Libra Venus gates. That's that document that goes into depth with the cycle with the dates. And then there's the Venus bonus content there. I'm not going to click on that, but that's some amazing content that Kaylin has created for everyone. It gives you even a deeper orientation into the Inanna story and everything as the background. And then for those of you who may not have watched our Libra Evening Star Relational Sorceress class, it was really popular. We got a lot of good feedback. It's an hour and 16 minutes. It's a fun way to kind of connect to the bigger Libra cycle. But again, don't let it overwhelm you if you haven't watched it. You don't have to. It's just extra fun stuff. So I know in this group, some of you are going to be like, I just want to do the most simple thing. I'm going to participate in as many live classes as I can. And then maybe you might want to do the guided meditations for each of these classes. I'll show you where that is. But this is all just bonus extra for you if you want to get more deeply engaged. So, okay. Now, this is what you're going to go to every month when we have our calls. You're going to go and find, we're of course going to start at the root chakra, and we're going to go all the way up to the last chakra gate, which we call the soul star chakra. You don't need to worry about that yet. But this is where we're starting, root chakra, because we're moving up. And so each time you're going to see these aren't active. None of these, it's so cool. None of these are active until it's time for us.
Because they're not active.
What?
If you click on them, nothing happens because they're not active yet.
Right.
Only if they're active will it take you somewhere.
Right, exactly. So when they are active, which is going to usually be about a week or so before we start, then you'll just click on it and you'll see that there's the first chakra. There's always going to be a PDF there. Usually it'll say PDF. And so this is what you're wanting to go to today in the root chakra. This is the PDF. I'm going to click on it in a second. And then you're going to go to the root chakra, after the class, then we have home play. So this is something you can print that will include some of the prayers that we've made for you and other things. So if you want in black and white, you can print some of this stuff, the questions to work with, all that. It's no more than 2 pages. So that, and then ideas about home play, what you might want to do next time. What?
It's 4 pages this time.
Oh, it is? Okay, well, it's the first class, so much better than trying to print the whole thing in color, which we don't recommend because we don't want you to waste paper and resources.
Right.
Unless you absolutely must. So that's the home plate, and then every month we'll also offer this video that goes into how is it that you want to navigate this root chakra gate for the sacral, and it just goes more deeply into the ways that we work with this ceremonially that aren't necessarily connected with this specific cycle. So we find people really love these videos. There's a lot of really deep, rich content that we've accumulated over time, and amazing practices. And again, you don't have to do this. You could just do our classes with us, but this is added insight and information and ceremony that you can do. And then again, like I was mentioning, for some people, you might just tune into each of these classes every month and then do this 16-minute guided meditation, because Kaylin creates these for every gate. They're very powerful. And this is a way to do the experiential piece and then also the class. So, so again, I'm just going to click on this. Every time, this is the most important thing, we're going to have the first link will be to the PDF that accompanies our call tonight. So you can kind of go along with us if you want. It's more important to have this when we have the conference call. Because when we have a conference call, you're not going to be looking at our screen. Right now, it's not such a big deal if you have it or not, which is another benefit of doing Zoom. But in the future, you're going to want to go to this root chakra gate and click on the PDF once you go into that page. I hope this isn't too complicated. Too much detail. So in any case, this is where each of the gates are that we activate every month. And then this is also something we've recommended. Maybe you just jumped in. Whenever you've got some extra time, this goes into much more depth around how the Venus cycle works, how it connects to the Anana descent story. So when you have time, you can do that if you haven't taken the class before. And then we also have this ceremonial considerations, which is just a really fun way to go more deeply into the issue of how do we set up our altars? What are some of the other ceremonial practices that we recommend? Keeping a Venus journal, etc. And it's really potent video that you will want to go back to if you haven't done this yet at some point. And then we have the other chakras, tuning into your chakras to kind of begin with kind of an assessment of where you're at. Introduction to the Venus temple and the sky temple. We may be revisiting those in some of our next classes. We'll let you know. And then meet your grandmother guide, because the grandmothers guide everything that we do in this class. So is there anything I've missed?
I think I got it. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so there we are, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the share so that we can get started.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start mine. So,
okay.
So we can have that as the opening slide. And so I just want to say that what we're going to do now is open sacred space, and I just invite everyone to pause if you want to close your eyes. Take a deep breath, connect. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story before we do the prayers, and just to kind of give you a sense of how this chakra gate can work. I was remembering this morning when I was out on my walk, when I had my last Venus return. It was my age 56 Venus return back. It was in 2011, and I had gone to San Francisco to some event that was there, and I managed to somehow get tripped up and fall on my tailbone right at the root chakra gate. And I was like, but wait, Venus is coming out of the underworld. And when I was in my age 16 Venus return, I was 14 at the time, but I'm a late evening star Venus, so I always start almost a year and a half before the actual return. I had a horse throw himself over backwards, where I landed on my tailbone. I broke my tailbone, and then he came down on top of me. 1,000-pound horse, and literally, it was a miracle that I walked away from that. And so when I fell on my tailbone in 2011, I was like, whoa, because it was the exact same pain that I had when I was younger with that injury. And it got me to realize what I really needed to do was deep, deep, deep root chakra work. And I thought I had already done it. So I got on this journey that I did for like 3 years, where I did a lot of colonics, very root chakra, a lot of liver gallbladder flushes, and a lot of detoxing. And I just absolutely changed my health in every single way possible. And literally, that wake-up call of falling on my tailbone and having it be so bruised and sore it hurt to sit. And so every time I sat down, I was like, oh yeah, I need to pay attention to this. So just something to be aware of. So sometimes that's how this can get our attention. And I literally have had really magical other ways it's happened, but that was so literal. And it was at this gate 8 years ago. So with that, just asking everybody to tune in. Oh, and the other thing is, here is a collage. So if you want to do collages at each of these gates, we highly recommend it. It's such a great way to tune in, and you can use words and images and different things to activate this gate, and whatever your intention is, how you would like to experience really reclaiming a healthy, vibrant, alive root chakra. So if you want to just get centered, I think Tammy's going to share this prayer with us, to bring in energy, our whole entire journey.
Oh, beloved grandmothers, we have heard your call to align our life cycles again with the Venus mysteries, restoring the divine feminine presence within and without. We honor you as wisdom keepers of our body, of our bloodline, and our DNA. We celebrate your great love and resiliency, triumphing through 5,000 years of patriarchy. We see and feel you encompassing and supporting us as we rise. reclaiming our sacred bodies and sacred relationship with each other and our beloved earth, recognizing the joy and gathering as community, accomplishing far more together than alone. We hear and feel you as grandmothers of our spiritual and blood lineage, transmitting wisdom from across all reaches of the galaxy and all timelines, as well as from the wisdom of healthy mother cultures throughout Earth time, providing us with knowledge and divine insight aligned with our highest good. Grandmothers, through your wisdom, we are guided in right action toward a new dawn. Listening with your ears, we hear them, the descendants, calling us forward, revealing the timeline toward a vibrant new earth of the next 7 generations and a new era of well-being, peace, and restoration of our beloved Mother Earth. And so it is. Blessed be.
So it is. And for those of you who don't necessarily know, it really was the grandmothers, the first cycle that we did this journey, the ceremonial journey, was the Capricorn cycle with connecting to the circle of grandmothers. And we really felt the grandmothers call us to this work back in 2014. So we just always want to honor them and acknowledge their presence in this process. So now we're going to do the relational goddess prayer, and literally these are prayers you could do. You could do them every day during this month. You could do this prayer every day this month if you wanted to. This through this gate, through this Venus gate. So we're invoking the divine feminine life force at the root chakra. Beloved relational wise goddess, great one of alchemy, transformation, and healing, goddess of great strength and kundalini life force energy. Alive with ancient wisdom, great love and compassion, guide and support me to reclaim my ability to know and trust I am safe and secure. I am loved, I am accepted and supported, I have immense value and am valued by others. Ancient wise one, opener of the ways into greater self-love, help me to reclaim my most vibrant, alive, life force energy. So I am creating and maintaining healthy relational boundaries, cultivating a more conscious relationship with my inner and outer world. Guide me in truly knowing the truth of who I am as I gather strength, courage, and valor to embrace and express my evolving life purpose. Guide me to reclaim a healthy, alive, and powerful root chakra so I again experience the wonder and magic of my life force, living my purpose through sacred relationship, restoring inner relational balance reflected in my outer world. It is done, it is so, and I give thanks. Blessed be.
Beautiful. Okay, and now we have hopefully a really wonderful gift for everyone. We are so excited, and I'm hoping that this works. And Tara, I think you're on. We have just a lovely woman who has been working with these Venus mysteries for quite some time with me personally, but she's been in this class now. I can't remember if Tara, if you were in this class before, but she's joined us now. And she has a song for us that she's been working on she's been creating for a while now. So hopefully, Tara, I'm going to unmute you now, and you can help us continue to open sacred space. And if you're not quite ready yet, we will wait, but we're going to unmute you in case you are.
Hello.
Hi, Tara.
Hi. Hi, Tammy.
Awesome.
Hi, Caitlin.
Yay.
So you can hear me?
We can hear you, yeah.
There's a
Okay,
little
great.
bit of reverberation. I don't know if Tammy, maybe if you and I also mute our microphone, that'll help.
Yeah, that'll help. Okay, and if you want to just introduce yourself briefly, Tara, that would be awesome. I'm going to mute me and.
Okay, and you can still hear me? Yes, without too much reverb. Okay. Yeah, good evening. So my name, I'll start out by just saying my name that my auntie gave me, which is Skulans Mamalqua Kanoho. It means rainbow painted woman. And I'm also known as Tara, the birth name that my mother gave me. And so I'm really grateful to be able to join the group. I thank you so much. And I did send the song ahead of time. So yeah, here's a song that I've been working on. for quite a few years, and it's definitely about the divine feminine. And I guess I'll just sing for you. I was going to use a drum, but I'm not sure how that's going to sound, so I'm just going to do voice for now, and we'll experiment with how a drum sounds maybe later on. Okay, so. Way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, 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 hey-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya. We are the water, we are one. We are the air, we are one. We are the fire, we are one. We are the land, we are one. Unity in diversity, we are one, we are one. Love yourself and love our mother. Heal yourself and heal our mother. Way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya. Way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya. Way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya. Way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya. Oh, my mother, oh, my sister, oh, my grandmother, oh, my daughter, auntie, and niece, oh, life givers. Sing together, pray together, sisters of the earth. We stand as one in unity with Mother Earth. Way-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya, way-ya, way-ya, hey-ya. We are the sun, moon, and stars. We are the earth, fire, wind, and sea. We are the holy, sacred heart. We are the holy, sacred light. Shine, pure light from within. Shine your holy light. Shine like the sun, pure, radiant waves of love. Hey-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya. Way-ya, way-ya, way-ya. Looks jam. Thank you.
Beautiful. Wow.
Thank you so much, Tara.
You're very welcome. And thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you for sharing with us. That was
Yes.
so cool. Yeah.
I love, that's the first time we've ever opened with song, and it's just so appreciated knowing Tara over the years. Just a powerful mother, medicine woman, and just of great heart. So glad when you offered to do that. Just really, really grateful.
Can I share one little tiny thing about it?
Yeah. Oh yes, please.
It occurred to me that today was again, I forget what they're calling it, the climate marches around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I recorded this song in the forest last Friday on the first day that I participated in my little town. And when I was recording it and making a little video with the videographer, I tuned in to everyone that may have been standing up around the world, and it just brought such waves of emotion, of happiness, that so many people on earth are standing up for our mother. So and it happens to be that day again today, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So feeling that.
Appropriate at the root chakra, of course, where our survival is key.
Yeah.
And coming together with the Libra Meta Goddess to stand together to say no more abuse to our Mother Earth. I love it. This is so powerful.
Beautiful. Yes, 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 yes to all of it. All right. Well, I think I'm going ahead and muting you, Tara, just because if we have too many, that it's going to give feedback. But we can all, well, we just won't unmute ourselves. We don't. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So I guess I could just say we're going to start with breakout groups. So wow. So take that medicine into the groups with you. We're going to do that here in a minute, and then we're going to do Sky Magic with Kaylin, and we're going to do this every month just to go through and help you to know what's happening in the night sky. That's a big part of what we want to do, is connect you with the night sky, with the magic of that. And then Kaylin's going to talk about the Chakra, Venus, Mercury, and living a magical life. It's really powerful what's happening this month. Reclaiming the root chakra, Libra meta goddess moving through Libra and Scorpio. This as a Libra Scorpio bridge cycle, just a tiny bit more about that. Demons at the root chakra, we'll talk more about that if you haven't seen the video yet. And then home play. So, and then hopefully we'll have time for Q&A. We'll see, because there is a lot of kind of going over the details this time.
Right.
So we've got 31 people. Again, we've got, I think, 70 something now in the whole group, but it's pretty typical that we have about half
and
in the
some
class.
far away, so it's like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning for them. So
yeah, quite a few actually.
Yeah.
In the UK and Australia. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to divide people up into rooms where we have about four people per room. Some rooms might have 3. So what we're going to ask you to do, what's going to happen is that you're going to be asked to join the group. And we're going to do this for about 8 minutes. And so each person has about 2 minutes, and it'll take a little while before everybody's in the room. So don't freak out. If you have 3 people or 2 people, just kind of hold tight, and we will make sure you've got your people. And then we'll probably make it last 10 minutes.
Go ahead and put them in the room, and then I'll tell them what they're.
Okay, great. Thank you. That sounds good.
I know it takes focus to do that.
Yeah, you're right. It does.
I can't do that part. I'm happy to talk a little bit about it. So
perfect. Thank you.
It's such a perfect way to start out as a way to kind of get to know each other. And ideally, you'd put your video on if you're on the phone. Of course, you probably can't. But if you called in, but if you have the ability to put video on so you can see each other and introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, maybe what brought you to the Venus class, and what your intent is for this class. And if you don't have an intention figured out, it could be very general, be a one-word thing. It doesn't have to be complicated, but sometimes it's nice to give voice to that, and it's just kind of a way for you to kind of know who else is here. And I've already gotten my ask to go to a breakout room, so I'll see whoever shows up there in the breakout room, and hope we all have a little bit of fun with this. Hello. Let's see. I'm going to so Trish, I think you can unmute yourself. It looks like you're muted.
Right. Yes.
There you go. Awesome. And
sorry about that.
Awesome. And Trish, so you probably know more about me. I would love to hear about you. Who wants to start?
Okay. Is it just me here?
No, we've got MJ too.
Oh, okay.
And there's it looks like there's someone on the phone.
Oh, and maybe, okay, yeah, we've got somebody on the phone. Are they muted?
Yes.
Show non-video participants. I'm going to do that. Yes, they are muted. So let's see if I can mute them. No, but won't let me unmute them. I don't know how to unmute them. Well, maybe *6 or something will unmute you if you're on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that worked. Woohoo!
Technology. Oh, thank you.
Who's on the
This is
phone?
Leslie. Hi. It's Leslie.
Leslie, where are you?
I am in New Jersey.
Ah, cool. So do you want to start? We can't see you. Maybe, I don't know if you can see us.
Okay, and what was the question after all that
So just
excitement?
to say, well, you've already said who you are, where you're from, what brought you here, and maybe what your intent is.
Oh my goodness. I think this is the third. So my second evening, and I did the morning cycles with you guys. And I'm not an active participant, but I'm just this is such a powerful time. I mean, I'm Libra Sun to begin with, and with this particular cycle, the past month, I had a really huge conjunction going on. So it's just been really powerful for me, big life changes. And I love you guys. So
Thank you. We love you too.
Okay. So I don't want to hog the time, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. And who else would like to go?
Oh, I can go. It says MJ. My name's Martha. I sometimes go by MJ, sometimes Martha. I'm actually in my childhood home right now, so it's like very root chakra for me right now. And
So do you prefer MJ or do you prefer Martha?
I'm reclaiming Martha, so let's go with Martha.
Okay, because it says MJ on your little thing, but
Yeah.
I always like to go with what people want to be called by.
Yeah.
So Martha
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. So I'm currently about 2.5 hours north of Toronto, Ontario, on Georgian Bay, my childhood home. And why am I here? I think for the sense of community and celebration and just being out with the sky. Like it gives me, I mean, I go out a lot, but it gives me just knowing that others are doing it together is just really awesome. So, and I learned so much. And I mean, the last week in this underworld has been, I was marching in the climate march in Toronto this morning and unpacking things with my auntie who's a shaman. And I was like, well, and this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. She's like, oh, girl, you go. So that rise will be, I'm looking forward to it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And Trish, how about you?
Yes, so I'm Trish. I live in Bermuda. And what brought me here? Well, actually, I've been intrigued by the Venus star and trying to understand it. It's a little bit over. But I'm also going to be having my return. I'm 56, so I'll be having my return during this cycle. And I love your password for the class. It's relationship magic. And I guess it's, trying to really improve my relationships generally.
So, Trish, did you get a chance to see the video that Tammy and I did like a week or two ago? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
I think, yes, I watched it on Saturday. Yes.
Right. Beautiful.
Yes.
So
I'm looking for. So I also have a Libra moon as well. So
beautiful.
Another reason to join in. And I really enjoyed it. I think I watched one of your free things a month or so ago that I guess introduced
the
this.
Underworld.
Yeah, the underworld, and really enjoyed your teaching. So
thanks.
here I am.
Yay. So interestingly for me, because this is my age 64 Venus return, I'll be 64 in March. I have worked with it for a while, and this is the first time it's been in Libra. So it's, all the time I've been aware of it has been in Scorpio. And so to be a part of this shift has been just so amazing. And what's interesting is, and this is something Tammy and we're probably going to talk a little bit more about as we go along, but when this cycle started, there was a lot of Scorpio stuff going on, but it rose up in Libra, and then, stationed direct in Libra, and then went back into Scorpio. And now we've had this Scorpio thing going on, and it's going to go back into Scorpio soon. And so there's just that's just like a threshold cycle, like, it's kind of both in a sense. But what was interesting for me at my age 56 Venus return was I was already starting to feel the Libra piece, and I have 0 Libra on my chart. I don't even have planets in the 7th house. But I love relationship and collaboration so much. It's like my favorite way to do anything. So that's been it's been really fun for me to see how that's been coming more and more onto the world stage as we are getting into this cycle. So what I think we might have another minute or two. I don't know if anybody has anything else they'd like to share or add to what they said.
Oh, I love the idea of the ceremony. The ceremony. I just love all the ritual, and I'm looking forward to going through the gates and building my altar and all all the fun
Yes.
stuff that goes along with it.
Beautiful. So if you have any questions about that, be sure and let us know. And have you
Yes,
seen?
actually, I was looking at, you know, I think it was your talk on last week where you talked about the goddesses associated with this
Yeah.
lunation, with this Libra. So it'd be like Hecate and Parvati and Lakshmi. So they are the appropriate ones to put on your altar
Well,
for this?
they're just a very few. I mean, we just only had time
Right.
to talk about them. But there's
Yeah.
far more, of course.
Right.
One of the things I wanted to do in the Morning Star, but never got around to, was talk a little bit about Hera and or Juno
Right.
and Zeus and Jupiter, however, you know, depending on whether you're looking at Greek or Roman, and the story that goes with that, and really how that story is the beginning of the patriarchal version of relationship between men and women, especially marriage and that kind of thing, and what Hera had to do in order to keep her mysteries alive. So that's something I really want to look at going forward, because I think Hera now gets to rise up in a new way, maybe a way she's never been able to do before. So
Right.
that's exciting. Yeah. So lots of different goddesses. We're gonna also try to look at people who have significant Libra on their charts and have made a difference in a Libra context. So it looks like we're about to return. We've got a minute.
Okay.
So Trish, you may also want to watch the ceremonial considerations video, because it gives a lot of ideas about how to do altars and journaling and all that.
Oh yeah, I did. I watched that.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Beautiful. So anything else? We've got 40 seconds.
No, I think just from that first root chakra video, I felt that energy of holding the vision of the earth thriving today in the climate march. I mean, I don't know how many thousands were in Toronto. I mean, it was thousands and thousands. You could just really feel that there were lots of people angry, but you can feel the people who are holding that vision of the thriving. You can feel it. And it's a shift. I've been on all these climate marches over the years, and it does feel like a shift. So just keep that thriving.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, we've got 4 seconds, so we're going to probably cut out here any second. But
yeah.
You can't hear me. Right. You can't hear me when you're in your breakout groups, but hopefully could you hear each other?
Yes.
Yes, we could.
Okay, good. Because in my group, for whatever strange reason, I could not hear anyone.
You have to unmute.
all right, so Tammy just reporting in. We had 4, and we heard each other beautifully, and it was fun.
Awesome. I'm so glad. Well, I did. You know, I was being recorded, so I talked about my intent for a while.
Right, because everybody else who wasn't on this call will then be hearing what you
After
had
a
to
bit
say.
of fumbling around. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so now, oh my gosh. So okay,
Actually,
well,
I'm
glad
recording, so Hemi, I think that my breakout group is going to be the one to be in that.
that would be so much better.
Yeah,
So I just
yeah,
love
yeah,
everyone who's in my
fun.
group.
All right, so we need to probably get moving on this pretty quick
Yes.
here. So
Yes.
literally tomorrow is the new moon, and theoretically, Venus will be visible in the evening sky, but so low on the horizon. I mean, and in the afterglow of the sun going down, so it may still be kind of difficult to see. But you know, if you get a chance to go out and see her, maybe a better chance of seeing that on the 29th, when the Venus Moon conjunction is exact in the middle of the day. So by evening time, it's possible, and the crescent moon is going to be above the horizon quite a bit. You can't really see it much. I probably should have put a little moon in here, because it's just a little dark spot. But what's really fascinating about this is that the moon and Mercury are pretty close to Spica. Venus is also really close to Spica. And this is the main star of the divine feminine of the constellation of the priestess. And where she holds, like, this is considered to be, I don't know, Tammy, if you can
Mute all. It's going to take a second right now. Yeah. Okay, that should help.
Okay, so I'm not muted.
You're not muted.
Okay, good. That should help a lot. Yeah. So this is where in the tarot cards, it's where the goddess of justice is holding the scales in her hand, and or the wheat or the corn, or there's different images. Different cultures have had different images at this point. But there's also around the world priestesses of Spica. They all would see Spica as the stand-in for Venus, and so when Venus and Spica are together, that just magnifies the energy that is possible here. Is there anything you want to add, Tammy?
No, just the only thing, which is, I mean, the fact that it's with Spica like that just blows my mind, because of course it was also with Spica when it was beginning the cycles within about 4 degrees, and then when it stationed retrograde, I mean, it spent a lot of time near Spica at the beginning of this the cycle in November of last year. And so I think we can really, this is part of also why I was feeling so much the Mary Magdalene energies, because the combination of Scorpio and this combination of Libra, which is the sacred consort, and then the priestess mysteries, that's what's so powerfully activated here, that intersection between the sign of Libra and the sovereign feminine.
So just something for people to know, if you're not familiar, I'm getting some feedback from somewhere, I don't know where. If you're not familiar with how this works, is that the signs are seasonal. So for example, 0 Libra marks the equinox point. So the September equinox, because it's the exact opposite equinox in the Southern Hemisphere, and I know we have some people who are with us from the Southern Hemisphere. So the signs are seasonal. They represent the seasonal cycles, and the constellations are the constant backdrop that these seasons move through and shift 1 degree every 72 years. So if we think about that, then this is probably one of the main times that we can have in over it takes about 26,000 years for all the seasons to go through all the constellations, that we would have this Venus cycle so close to Spica. So that's pretty remarkable. It's like not going to happen every time, or it's not going to be as close every time. So
amazing.
Yeah. And I just thought it was
the feedback now, Kaylin. How's the feedback now?
I'm not still hearing little glitches here and there. I don't know. So it seems fine at the moment. So this is for people in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a little bit different view, because if you see here, the ecliptic, this green line where the planets are moving along, we've got Saturn and Jupiter in the evening sky. We've got Mercury. We're going to have the Moon and Venus that should be visible. If we don't get to see it on the 29th, we'll definitely be seeing it over the next few weeks more closely. But here in the Southern Hemisphere, the ecliptic line is in a different direction. So where you are on the planet makes a difference in how you're going to see it.
Yes. And like Tracy, who is in Guadalajara, when you're down south, closer to the equator, also everything's so much higher. So she may well see Venus soon. I'm hoping that she'll let us know. Anyone who's seen Venus, we haven't seen her yet. Right. Because the angle where she's at when she's in Libra makes it so that it takes a little longer. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then on September 30th, the moon is going to have moved quite a bit beyond Venus and Mercury. But we look at this as a 3-day window of the Venus gate. So the day before, the day of, and the day after being that time of. So if you get to see Venus and the moon, or any part of this at that time, in any time of these 3 days, it is so worth it. And just to go out and open to receive any insights, downloads, messages, even if you can't see them, go out and turn to the west after the sunset and just tune in to see what comes through for you. And here's the moon has moved on to be in Scorpio by the time we have sunset on September 30th. So it's left the Libra realm, and so you get to see, kind of how that's working. And I saw last night, I saw Antares and Jupiter. It was so cool to see them because it's been raining here a lot and haven't been able to see them much. But hard to miss if you have a clear sky. So
they're so beautiful. I want to say too, Kaylin, like one of the things I noticed this morning, I got to see the sunrise and I was out. It was just so beautiful. And as the sun was rising up into the sky, I could just, I just knew that Venus was beneath it. So that's the other thing we start to understand is where Venus is at in the sky. So in relation to the sun. So
Right.
even if you can't see Venus, you can just tune into her. Just, okay, she's like about this far. This is 10 degrees is the width of your fist. So she's about 10, 11, 12 degrees from the sun now. So you kind of know where she's located generally. And that's also a way of connecting with her.
Right, so Venus is tracking behind the sun, or, following the sun comes up, then Venus comes up, sun goes down, then Venus is ideally still in the sky, so we get to see her in the evening. And so
Right.
that's how it's going to work. That's really well described for people who maybe don't understand that. So, and because we've been talking about Spica, every year around October 17th, the sun and Spica line up. And so, of course, that's going to happen in this Venus gate. Venus will have moved on and be in Scorpio by that time, moving into the constellation of the Scales when that happens on October 17th. But it's just something to know. So when you go out and see the sun on the 17th, you'll know that Spica is there, but you won't see it. But it's magnifies the energy of Spica whenever planets are there. So this Venus gate, the root chakra gate, is magnified by Mercury, by Venus, and by the moon. So 3 planets magnifying Spica tomorrow and the next day, and the day after that. And then the sun comes along and does that. And it's at least, it's a little longer than 3 days. I think, I don't know if I put it in here, but it's like whenever it's within 6 degrees on either side of that. But that gives you the sense. So we have the new moon tomorrow at 5 Libra, and then the Venus moon conjunction at 18 Libra, and that's within 6 degrees of Spica. And then the Mercury exact with Spica on the 29th, and then Venus will be square Pluto. So there's still some underworld scorpionic energy that's connected to this gate. With Venus going into square to Pluto. Pluto's at 20 Capricorn, and Venus will be at 20 Libra. And then Pluto's going to station direct on October 2nd at 20 Capricorn. And so it's in that pause place in its cycle, something just to be aware of. And then on October 3rd, Venus will be exact with Spica. On October 12th, it's going to be opposite Uranus. Bringing in some unusual, maybe unpredictable things that might be happening when that takes place. And then there'll be the Aries full moon on October 13th. The sun's going to go into Scorpio on October 23rd. We'll have a new moon on October 27th, and then the next Venus moon conjunction on the 29th. And what's really interesting about what's happening right now is that Venus and Mercury are so close together. They've been close together since July. They've been within 10 degrees. They're within 10 degrees until November 7th. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what that represents, but it's been a powerful thing. So just so you know that this is something that many cultures actually were tracking when Venus and Mercury would be visibly together in the sky. But also something, I talked about the tarot cards. I talked about the wheat or the corn or the lamp in the hand of the Virgin Priestess. That constellation has also been connected to Cybele, who is a mother goddess. And she's always got her lion with her, and she has many different ways of being seen, and her celebrations usually happen around this time of the year, and there's a lot of drumming, dancing, singing, chanting that goes on all night long. And when the sun is with this constellation, it was what the Christians referred to as when Mother Mary was being assumed by the sun, or the Assumption of the Mother Mary. Now that they say takes place in August. That used to be connected to when the sun was with Spica, but it has shifted quite a lot since then. So the Venus-Mercury conjunction, there's that connection to, it's called the Shekinah in the Hebraic traditions. And this book, the Book of Hiram, is such a great book by Christopher Knight and Robert Lomas. And they did so much research on the Venus cycle. And so basically every 40 years, Venus and Mercury will come back together in the same relationship. So if they're in the morning sky together, then that was actually when it was seen as the Shekinah, because they built Solomon's temple to coincide with the time that Venus and Mercury rose in the morning sky in the east. And they built a special, portal so that they could see it and all of that. So they described this in the book. And then this, even though this really isn't the classic Shekinah cycle, that idea of the return of the divine feminine into the world, they have been together by the time this is all done for 4 months. They've been within 10 degrees of each other. And their exact conjunction, last one on October 30th, will be visible in the night sky. And it's going to be in Libra, and it's the first Libra cycle that we've had. Actually, it's going to be in Scorpio, but it's the first Libra metagoddess cycle we've had in 155 years. So all these rare things lining up together at this particular time. And the Shekinah, or the divine feminine presence, lighting our world. So we have Venus and Mercury coming together to light the world, and that'll be at the right as we go through the second chakra gate. Pretty cool. So this just gives you the exact information. It was interesting that Mercury and Venus came within 10 degrees of each other starting on July 22nd, and that's the Magdalene feast day. So hence why we have this connection to Magdalene. And I've worked with the Magdalene mystery since the mid-90s, and went through a Magdalene priestess initiation, and we always did big ceremony on the Magdalene feast day on July 22nd. So the fact that we have Mercury and Venus coming together, and they're together in this place until November 6th. And the last conjunction again at S27 Scorpio, October 30th. So it'll be 40 years before we have this happen again. It's pretty cool. Anything you want to add, Tammy?
I kind of love we're talking this much about Mary Magdalene when we've got the root chakra right now and the beautiful red slides, and we had Sophia mentioning her trip recently to connect with Mary Magdalene. It's just everything coming together. It's so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that when Mercury and Venus are forming their circles around the sun, they form the triquetra. And the triquetra, the sacred knot in the Celtic and North mythology, they have found cave paintings that are at least 5,000 years old that show this symbol. And it very likely could be connected to this cycle because they are so tuned in. In fact, there was something called the Nebra sky disk that was found in Germany, where they, priestesses of Spica, there's definitely still alive and well today in Germany. And the Nebra sky disk was tracking specific connections to the Pleiades. But, so we could just say that they knew these mysteries. They knew about these connections, and they were creating symbols that would represent these connections. So if you think about the triquetra, it's the power of three. So the feminine trinity, we have the maiden mother crone, we have the power of love, the power of choice, the power of our life force energy to manifest and create our reality. So we could say the power of three. There's lots of different ways you could constitute the power of three, but that's just some ways to get you started. So you can contemplate this and tune into this, and maybe even journal around it, meditate on it, and see what else comes through for you about that, because pretty magical and amazing. So part of what we're doing in this cycle with the Libra cycle is really cultivating and living a magical life. And also the triquetra, the three, past, present, and future. So if we think of time, and time is not a straight line, as the triquetra would show us. It's, curves in and out and around and all about. But they come together where the intersection places where they come together represent the between places. And in alchemy, the between is where the greatest magic can happen. So, but we sometimes we think of between as like between something that's ending and beginning, but it can be so much more than that, because it can also be between ideas, between experiences, between an intention where potential and power come into form. So between time and eternity, Venus and Mercury, because we have the Venus and Mercury thing going on, human and divine, nature and culture. It's like the between can happen in any place. And also it can happen between each of us, how we can connect with that. So the idea is that, and if we look at these opposites, there's the between that comes like good and evil, right and wrong, life and death, light and dark, all of that. It's not that they're opposite. They're not, they're actually connected. And it's in those between places where those connections happen. So one doesn't really exist without the other. That's just something to think about.
Beautiful. So now we can talk a little bit too about just what is this whole Libra at the root chakra? What's that about? We're all men and women bringing forth the newly initiated relational goddess. That's what we're doing collectively, strengthening and raising our vibration on this ascension journey. And at the root chakra, what the Libra goddess within each of us is really connecting to is, consider with these questions. These might be something you want to meditate on over the coming month. How does the healthy, grounded, relational goddess care for herself so she does not lose who she is when she is in relationship to others? That continues to be a core question. And my sense is that we're really coming into magical, never before felt or seen ways of experiencing this. I know I am feeling that. How do we rise together as ambassadors of love, grounded in feminine wisdom? Consider how the world needs and is thirsty for that now. And we can be that presence. How do we bring our unique vision and creativity into the world, knowing and experiencing we can accomplish far more together than on our own? So I love that, Kaylin, that one so much.
Yeah, because that's why we're doing this. Together. Yeah. So, at Libra reclaiming a healthy root chakra, there's some affirmations you can state, like I'm safe, I'm home, I'm centered, I'm grounded, I'm safe, centered, and grounded. However you want to put that together. Maybe even that all my needs are met, they're easily met, I'm open to possibilities, especially around health and well-being. And then also recognizing when we need rest and regeneration and allowing ourselves to have time for that. It's interesting that I've been noticing some people who it's like they're feeling like they need rest, but they just keep pushing anyway. Like, how is that a good thing?
Yeah.
So this is the time where it's like, get rooted, take the time to rest and regenerate if you need it. Even if you don't need it, you might want to take time for that. And then this Libra goddess is ascending, enhancing the relational realms of our inner and outer reality within the cosmic balance. So this is kind of a theme that is informing this whole entire evening star cycle.
So we have had such an amazing time and we always do, connecting to which goddesses or which expressions of the feminine have been showing up across cultures and time that represent the goddesses for each Venus cycle. And in this particular one, Ishel is a really potent relational goddess, and she has a lot to do with what it feels and looks like when the goddess who most deeply cares for and wishes for a relationship, what she has met in the time of patriarchy, the ways that part of our vulnerable part of ourselves has been wounded, and the ways that she comes home to herself. Hera and Juno, similarly, are about the story about the relational goddesses and the way they've not been met when what they've wanted more than anything else is to completely show up and be able to express who they are in profound, intimate, connected partnership and bond. And so we're healing that. That's what we're working towards healing. Then you've got Lakshmi and you've got Parvati, who you could say maybe embody more of the empowered expression of the relational feminine, who is actually deeply met in different ways. Mary Magdalene also is and she again is kind of we can see and feel within her vibration the unique synthesis of the Scorpio feminine, the Libra feminine, because this is a Libra Scorpio threshold cycle, and also all of this beautiful Spica energy, as well as the Shekinah energies that Kaylin's talking about. So we're really feeling merry. And Isis also is the relational goddess with her beloved, maybe the goddess that has to do with what it means and feels like to live in a world as the relational goddess who is trying to be with and be a healing force in the life of men who are wounded by patriarchy. So
And
they're
putting
all
them back together, because she's putting them back together.
remembering them.
Yes.
Exactly. Through the magic of unconditional love in the places where that's healthy versus the codependent places, which can be very, very tricky to navigate. And then Jigan Sasi, I've just been so deeply inspired by her. She was the mother of nations to the Iroquois people, and their in the stories that they tell about the founding of the Haudenosaunee, the Iroquois Confederacy, and their Great Law of Peace. She was one of the three primary figures who helped bring that about. And then Sekhmet, in her form as the healed Sekhmet who woke. There's a whole longer story about her. She's also the relational goddess who is deeply met by her partner, Patan. She is potentially healed by him and becomes a healer. So those are just some of the relational goddesses, and you're always welcome to connect and bring into our circle who are other goddesses who carry the relational mysteries, and who are other women that you see on the world stage who embody these qualities. You have anything else to share, Kaylin?
I think we're going to explore that more deeply as we go.
Yes, we will. We will bring those in as we go too. So if you have individuals you think we should profile, talk about, we'll do that. Okay, so Ilhan Omar is, because every time we'll talk about somebody who's on the world stage, you know, she's really a potent and powerful. Look at her face. Oh my God. Like, if you've listened to her video after the whole really ugly event that happened where there were individuals who were telling her to go home. She did a beautiful video afterwards where she was really invoking and speaking to the core principles of democracy and how it is that we protect that. And, you know, one of the things that we've already seen in this Libra cycle is that it's very much about marginalized groups. Women in Honduras right now are rising up, really wanting to restore or create democracy. It's the actual vitalization of democracy led by women. And Ilhan Omar is one of those figures. So she's 38 years old. She's a congresswoman from Minnesota. She has Libra, Sun, and Jupiter. She is one of the first 2 Muslim women to serve in Congress. She's the first in many levels. First Somali American woman, many other things. She's very much a pioneer also. She embodies Libra's dedication to justice, democratic principles, and the need to honor every place around the wheel. So Libra naturally resonates with the intersectional feminist perspective that the interweaving relationship between identities like race, class, nationality, and gender need to be really considered when we want to understand where a person's coming from. And so this is her quote, I am not a Somali representative. I am not a Muslim representative. I am not a millennial representative. I am not a woman representative. I am a representative who happens to have all of these marginalized identities and can understand the intersectionality of all of them in a very unique way. And if that's not a Libra statement, you know, we are, and that's honoring her inner complexity, the multitudes that live inside of her, and we all have that. So that's also part of what Libra is trying to help us get to. Do you want to say anything about that, Kaylin?
I just love that she said intersectionality. Because
Yeah.
we were talking about those intersection points in the triquetra, and really literally that's what she's speaking to here is all these intersection points, and that between place where the greatest magic can happen when we are willing to be aware and present in those intersection places.
Absolutely. Yes. And it's so cool because that is a term and that is an understanding that I think began to gain more understanding after the Women's March. And some of the way that term and that understanding came up was painful for many people, I think. But I think it's coming, it's time in this Libra cycle to understand what that means, to speak to the different dimensions of what it means to be holding all these different realities inside of ourselves as women. So the Libra meta goddess at the root chakra gate, moving through Libra, she's finding her ground, her center in the realm of primary partnership with self and other. We are finding our way into an experience of belonging in our own skin and within the village whose frequency matches our own vibration. We're finding our people. We are seeking and finding those we can most dynamically co-create and cultivate intimacy, ultimately constructing the new earth culture with. And in my experience, that's sometimes surprising. Don't expect that it's everyone that you think who thinks and looks and appears to belong in the same exact cultural group that you belong to. Be willing to be surprised by the individuals who are waking up now to what's possible. You may not, there may be some, it's good to be really open. I think this is a time for listening. We are seeking and finding those we can most, okay, yeah, sorry. Demons at this chakra gate may cause us to return to the dark experience of not belonging to ourselves or the larger community of life. You know, because at each of these gates, we may encounter the part of ourselves that's still not healed. So it's time to shake off the false belief in separation and remember what we already know in our bones. We belong. We belong deeply and wholly in this world and to each other. And so then Libra Metagoddess for most of this month will be moving through the root chakra gate through Scorpio. So she's establishing her most primal bond with her body, the earth, and her empowering ancestors. And she reclaims her capacity to deeply feel and experience her sensuality. She is, and we are dropping into a growing sense of belonging or coming home to ourselves, transforming all that stands in the way. She's cultivating this grounded, strengthening relationship with her emotions, nourishing her and helping her feel safe and secure. And she's cultivating a healthy relationship with death, ever more skillfully navigating the natural cycles of letting go and releasing, opening to the deepest levels of transformation and aliveness as a result.
Hence why we also see this as that combination of Libra Scorpio that we talked about in the free webinar that we did, that's posted on the class page. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it, because it really goes more in depth into that Libra Scorpio threshold that we're experiencing. One of the things I noticed in my age 56 Venus return was I was really starting to experience more around relationship. I have no Libra on my chart. so that, you know, that it's, I don't even have planets in the 7th house that might add like a Libra flavor to them, but no, I have none of that. So, but I have been really feeling into this whole, like the whole thing around collaboration, cooperation, conscious co-creation has been something that I have been interested in for a while, but it especially started gearing up at that last cycle. And interestingly, that was when Venus stationed retrograde direct in Libra. It rose up in Scorpio, but immediately went into Libra right after she rose into the evening sky at that time. So it was already starting to bring in a little bit of those Libra mysteries. So the demons in the story of Inanna, and this is something that we go into more detail in the root chakra video that we did, but she has to, Inanna is asked to find someone to take her place. When she leaves the underworld, she has to send someone to take her place, and they send demons or daemons, is how it's also described in the story, to go with her to make sure she does it. And so every time she sees someone, they're like, so we take that one? So we take that one? So we take that one? You know, and she's like, nope, nope, nope. Till finally she sees her supposed husband sitting on her throne and not even worried that she's been gone all this time. And then she's like, take him. So, right. Anyway, so one of the things we talk a lot about and is how we invite our demons. You know, how do we invite our relationship to our demons? What do they have to tell us? And so these are just some different ideas of demons we might encounter at the root chakra, especially the Libra Metagoddess root chakra. And you might find that you have different ones. So we're not just saying these are the ones, or you might not relate to any of these. You might need to come up with your own, or you might relate to all of these, or you might relate to some of these. So there's, we're not going to go through each and every one of them. You can look at them yourself, but this idea of what is the energy that needs your attention, that you can pay attention to and give energy, not energy in that you're going to make it bigger or more problematic, but you're going to engage it face it, deal with it, and transform it. Anything more about that, Tammy?
No, just, I mean, also we have a video where we talk about this too, but
Yeah.
you know, the root chakra video, but it's just one of the most profound things is to understand. I always see it like the yin yang symbol, where when you're going down in the morning star phase, there's a descent process. You are at each gate, it's like you're primarily saying, okay, what's not working? What do I need to let go of? So that's kind of like the black side with and there's a little light in there too, where you're in the morning star journey at each chakra gate, you're also starting to get this little insight and kinesthetic and experiential understanding of, oh, this is how it feels at the crown chakra gate to completely heal and release my connection to source, and etc. And when you're going up in the evening star, it's primarily about claiming and building and strengthening what's working, but there's going to be that little part of what we haven't quite healed and transformed that we need to meet, which also is often the seed for our deepest gift and genius. So it's powerful the way that works.
Yeah, beautiful. So you'll go ahead.
Okay, so in the evening star journey, we also have that document, the home play, that you can download, and it kind of goes into really good depth around what practices, deepening practices or home play you want to do this month, if you want to really get this really deeply. But the first piece right now is to really create or renew your Venus altar. And again, go to the ceremonial video in our homepage to get more ideas about that. But that's so powerful to have an altar. We just really recommend it. Connect with your Venus buddy if you can to establish your communication rhythm. Are we going to talk once a week, once a month, whatever? Just connect with that person. Continue or initiate your Venus journal, which is really, really essential and important and powerful too. And make sure you write your intention for the journey at the beginning of your journal if you haven't yet. Spend time with Venus and the moon in the evening sky is another thing to do. Just really start spending time with them. And we can't see Venus yet, but again, after sunset, just know Venus is up there right near the sun, and soon enough, we're going to see her. So spend time with the sky.
One of the things that we like to say in the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School is that sometimes the ceremony is just going out and being witness to the sky, to the stars, to the planets, to what's going on. You don't have to create something big and dramatic and whatever, because that can be off-putting, and also not everybody has time for that. But just even if you just take 2 minutes and go outside and look up. And one of the things that's really great is we have some people in this class that take awesome pictures and post them. So if you missed seeing it because it was cloudy or for whatever reason, you can also tune into it from the images on the Facebook page. So beautiful. So this is here because it relates to another home play exercise we're suggesting if you're really ambitious. This beautiful book, Belonging, by Toka Pa Turner. She is Remembering Ourselves Home is the whole title. She's such a beautiful writer and a dreamer, which is why I adore her. But this book is just, and you'll love it. There's all these beautiful little constellations in the front. I'm not going to read all the quotes, just the top one. Instead of always asking, where do I belong, which of course is a root chakra concern, a question based on shortage, consider reversing your definition of the word from a noun to a verb, in which belonging becomes a practice of generosity, such as, I belong myself to that which I love. I just love that so much. And there's so much in this book that has to do with extending ourselves to see the way that the world around us, people are so isolated. They feel so alone. And this is a time where we can first feel a deep sense of belonging to ourselves, a deep sense of peacefulness and congruence within ourselves. And when we go out into the world with that sense, we might also see the places around us where people are isolated and alone, and just bring that sense of connectedness to the world, where we walk, where we have influence, just with a smile, with a kind word. This is a time people need that, like they need food, like they need air. So just belong to the world around you in a good way. That's part of what she's bringing. Be the longing.
Be the longing. Yeah.
So this is based on what we did at the root chakra in the morning star, and it's just continuing that practice essentially. And if you haven't seen the I think it's on Netflix, and I don't know where else it might be. There's some videos of Brene Brown on YouTube that talks about vulnerability, belonging, the difference between belonging and fitting in. Because when we're fitting in, we're really trying to do something that isn't who we really authentically, naturally are, because we feel like that's what we need to do in order to fit in. And so that's not being vulnerable, and that's not being brave. Ultimately, it's like kind of cashing in on what we think it is that will get us where we want to go, but it probably won't. So these are some questions that you can look at and maybe answer. You can maybe talk to other people about. You could talk to your Venus buddy about, and just take this practice and see and tune into how you feel about, are you fitting in or are you belonging? And we would hope that our Venus alchemy community is where people can belong and not be trying to fit in. So whatever works for you is what works, we support that, we celebrate that, and we're not wanting you to be anything other than who you are. So we've already covered all this stuff, so I think we're ready for Q&A.
Yeah, we've got 15 minutes still, miraculously. That's incredible.
I know, we're so good.
How did that happen? It seems like, wow. Okay, so should we just go ahead then and open it up to gallery? Well, each person can put it on gallery view if they want.
Yeah, I'm gonna
click to the top and see everybody.
Right. And so if you have a question or a comment or an insight or an aha or something, and you don't want to share it out loud, you can type it into the chat. If you or we'd love to actually hear from you. So
yes,
don't be shy, be vulnerable.
And you can just you can unmute yourself,
or raise your hand and we can unmute you.
Or raise your hand, yeah. Or if you're on phone, you can *6. You can just share where you're at from the heart, or you can just, if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have any idea, like, when I live on the East Coast outside of Boston, do you have any idea when I might be able to see Venus? I mean, I know that it matters to have like a good horizon line, and there's just a lot of trees and buildings, and I mean, if I get up high, or do you have, like, is there a date that it will definitely be visible?
That's a good question, and I don't know. I mean, definitely it will be visible at some point. What date that actually is, I don't know that we know. But here, I will tell you, back in 2011, I went out on the day of the Venus-Moon conjunction, and it was, and had a low horizon. The sky was totally clear, and I could see the moon and Venus in sort of the afterglow of the sunset. But there were no trees, and nothing was in the way. So it was visible. We were able to see it then. And it was this exact Venus-Moon conjunction happening, like, it was either the end of September or early October. So, but I'm out west. I don't know how, and also, had a really amazing low horizon line to be able to do that. I don't have that so much where I am right now. I'd have to go somewhere to be able to do that. So anyway,
thank you.
Yeah, hopefully people will be inspired to make it, even if you have like buildings, trees, whatever, go somewhere where you might be able to see the lower horizon and look west and see if you can see it, and let us know.
I will. Thank you. So enjoy this class.
Thanks, Vicky.
Thank you, Faye. So Martha shared a beautiful song. Martha, you sure you don't want to just say it or sing it? Do you want us to do it? You know how to unmute yourself?
I just put the link. I just put the YouTube link on it. I literally was driving here. I got here at 8 o'clock, and this song for the last 10 minutes, I put it on repeat. I was like, oh, I'm really singing this song, and it's actually in my choir class that I'm teaching next week. Like, oh, and then now I see why it's come through. Anyway, It's beautiful. I put the YouTube link there. It's a band of out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. So
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So people can go and listen to that. Maybe we can post it also on the Facebook page and put it in the email that's going out tomorrow when this is posted.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes, thank you, Martha. That's so cool and so good to hear you. See you. Who else? Sarah.
Yeah.
Hi, Sophia.
Just like to say that this was really a rich and powerful class and presentation, and I'm really looking forward to going back through and exploring some of the things you've put forth. It's pretty amazing, so thank you for that. Very, very
Is
much.
this your point of sale? It doesn't.
Thanks, Sarah.
It's whatever's on there.
I think someone else is needing. Okay, Sophia.
Hi. It's funny that Sarah and I spoke up at the same time because we were in the same breakout group. But I just want to put a voice around the fact that I am really astonished by how this Magdalene journey was really activating these demons for this root chakra gate. I am blown away, and you know, I love Nancy. I hope she would not mind me saying this. She really was courageous to hold that mirror for me, and I'm aware for the other group members as well through that journey. And I never anticipated that experience, and I was being knocked over at every turn. But I can see now full circle as we went through that information that was the sacred space that she was holding for us to mirror back these demons that are ready to now be integrated and brought forward with us through this root chakra. And I'm so honored, so grateful. And I just would really like to take a moment to bow to her right now.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Tara, do you want to? Okay, Tara's saying, yesterday it was beautiful and sunny afternoon, and I absorbed the rays of the sun and consciously connected to the earth and let the starlight in through my eyes. Not direct staring at the sun, but just staring a little underneath. Yep. I think I learned this from Kaylin and Tammy in 2014. I also learned this from my Navajo sister who was getting slightly sick, and she let the sun help to heal her. Just a little sharing about my day yesterday. Thank you, Tara, and again for your beautiful song. Thank you.
I think we share more about sun gazing on the solar plexus chakra, but that is a good practice anytime. So good.
And in the underworld, we always share that as a practice in the underworld.
Yeah. So Karen, yeah, let me see if I can unmute you.
Oh, does Karen need help?
Yeah.
Okay, I've
There you
unmuted
are.
myself. I'm very
Yeah,
clever.
cool.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm here at the right time and the right place. So I wasn't here for the first part of the descent journey. I was doing it myself in my own time, and I just realized that when I listened to a video you posted the other day that I am in that void point, and that sort of gives me a bit of relief, going, okay, so yeah, now we're going to start coming back up. So I have been in this space of real uncertainty and the unknown, and it feels like the center of the viscous Pisces, you know, that's where I've been, and that's a symbol I've been working with all year. But coming back to the love in my heart, and love will know the path forward, is what's giving me comfort. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to journeying with everyone. I'm in Sydney, Australia. So yeah, I'm not sure how Venus is. I imagine Venus is still going to rise with the moon, even in the southern hemisphere. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll let you know.
The slide has this. You can see the kind of the star map slide for the southern hemisphere. So check that out, and it'll be still low on the horizon, but you'll, if you have a low horizon line, you look and you're there soon after sunset, you'll probably be able to see it. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
So, thank you, everyone. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Wait, what time is it for you?
I think it's about 11:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay, not too bad for the Australia people. It's the UK people. It's like 1 or 2 in the morning. Yeah. Anybody else?
While we're waiting for a second, I just want to say that when people said where they were coming from, they said Orlando, Encinitas, California, Bermuda. That's fun. Italy. Oh, somebody up late. That was Monica. Atlanta. Madrid, New Mexico. Sylviane. Toronto, Canada. It's Martha. And Jackie's in Northern Carolina. Rebecca is in Frank Ewing, Tennessee. Awesome. Sarah's in Cincinnati, Ohio. Aspen, Colorado. Sheridan. Barbara's in Wisconsin. And Melody in Austin, Texas. Tara in Salmon Arm, British Columbia. Sequapernu. Oh, Tara, you're gonna have to say that. I wish I wouldn't know how to say that word. Salmon Arm, British Columbia, Canada. I don't want to butcher it, but it's the name for the First Nations for that part of British Columbia. Yeah. So okay.
So I think we have time for 1 or 2 more. If anybody else wants to, or we'll begin wrapping this up. Yes, Emma.
Yeah, I didn't know what part you were at because I had a little bathroom emergency.
Perfect for the root chakra.
It was like, oh, yeah, okay, you can't wait. So anyway, I'm assuming you're asking on the breakout groups.
You can share about that. You can share about whatever you want, or you can ask questions about whatever you want.
Oh, the group that I was with was. Thank you for doing that for me. Everybody there was new, and a couple of the people hadn't even gone through the first part. So I tried to share with them what the experience of how participating in all of the Venus cycles, how it has affected me very, very slowly, but very deeply. And then there were things that I thought were important at the very beginning, and now they're like, what was I worrying about?
Wow.
So I was trying to tell everybody that participating, even if you don't have any planets, or like Kaylin, you were saying with Libra, and yet how vital that archetype is in your life. You can't ignore it because there's nothing there. Doesn't mean you don't have to deal with it. And so what you do is you learn so much more about who you truly are, and who you thought you were is often a big, big mistake. You are not who you thought you were. You begin to see inside of yourself, begin to see your soul and how your soul intermingles with all of the parts of humanity, of the earth. And I keep on looking at this little saying that I have on my cable box. It says, when we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it's hitched to everything else in the universe. And that's John Muir.
Yeah.
And I keep on finding this quotation in all of the things, so many of the things that I'm reading right now, is that we are all part, and when we get together as a group, we become even more so a part of that whole beingness. And that's what I want to thank you and Caitlin for bringing this Venus cycle to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma.
Aw.
We so love having you with all that you bring. That's powerful.
I claimed elderly. My status is the elder.
Yes,
You are the grandmother of our group, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to know if I have any competition.
Well, there are some young elders in the circle, but I don't know if they're competition. I'd say pretty much everybody here is a young elder.
Right. Rebecca, did you want to say something? Or were you just waving? Can you unmute her?
Rebecca, I'm going to unmute you. Okay. Rebecca, you're unmuted. Wait, I'm trying.
Oh, she's not.
Very strange. No.
There she
is. Very
there.
easy. Okay, good.
Oh,
there you
I was
are.
just waving when she said there's competition for the elders.
That's
I'm
right.
going to be 70 next month or November. 70.
And
I never thought
Emma is 85. She got
3 months from me. Yeah.
Emma wins, Rebecca.
Okay.
So
You win.
there's hope for everybody.
You're the winner. Okay.
That's awesome.
I mean, if anybody's older than 85, we welcome you to speak up and.
Oh, very definitely. Yeah, yeah. All my life, I've been the youngest in all of my groups, and all of a sudden, I'm not anymore, and I don't know what to do with it.
Right. I hear you, Emma. I've been that way too.
Yeah, I hear you too.
Yeah, I think there's a similarity between the three of us that we love to make people laugh.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma. That's because we're both in the Gemini Venus cycle, right?
Right, yes, yes.
And Kaylin has Gemini South Node.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it counts. But anyway, so okay. So just to say before we close that we also had Tracy is in Guadalajara, Mexico. Yay. Deborah is in Greater Portland, Maine. Kent is in Albuquerque. And Rebecca says she loves the breakout groups. And I just have to, yeah, awesome. Next time we do the breakout groups, whatever group I'm in, I'm just going to put those people into other groups because if it's not working. So, we're working out the kinks.
Yeah. We'll get it.
I think opening with the breakout group was wonderful.
Awesome.
You tied people together. Yeah.
That was our intent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma, for saying
we
that.
wanted to in the Libra cycle.
Yes.
We need each other. Yeah.
We do.
Hey, I guess it's time, unless there's anybody who's got a burning desire.
Just one more question about the breakout groups. It was such a powerful experience. I know you've scheduled to do other classes on conference calls, but if you're open to just keeping everything in this format on Zoom and being able to incorporate more of the breakout groups, I know I personally would love it.
Good feedback. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so I wanted to say too, and for Pamela, she said her breakup group never manifested. And Pamela, that was so weird because I remember seeing it looked like you hadn't joined, but I want to apologize for that because that's really frustrating to have those 10 minutes go by without being in a group. So, you know, and I'm just, next time I think I'm just going to make sure that I'm kind of like scouting it out and making sure everybody's okay and not worrying about being in a group. And Kaylin, you record. So let's do that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a plan.
More Zoom, more breakout groups. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. I mean, because what's in this group is so powerful.
It is. It is. And maybe it's the Libra cycle and we just really need to do it on Zoom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So Deb missed the first 40 minutes. Okay. She's getting ready to uproot and move across the country. Okay. So we're going to go. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And so we're going to go ahead then and close because we're at the end of the hour. We're going to try to set a foundation of really being timely. That helps at the root chakra, boundaries. So,
right. Exactly.
Okay.
So everyone go and see Venus if you can, the moon if you can. Check in with your root chakra. Have a great month. And if you're not connected with us on Facebook yet, connect with us. Yeah. We'll make sure you're there. If you're not on Facebook, you might consider joining because Facebook group is amazing.
Yes, it is. And if you want a Venus buddy and you haven't chosen anyone yet and you want to put your name on that document, don't forget, go back to the Google Doc. If you can't find it, email me. And I'm going to do that by Sunday night, and then I'll choose something by Monday for everyone. I'll choose your buddies. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to unmute everyone now so we can all say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night. Beautiful month.
Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Have a wonderful month.
Yes, a wonderful month.
Many blessings. Thank you very much.
Thank you.